California in fuego. This was an insane clip from Mike Rowe, Dirty Jobs. He showed up there and made a video from the roof of his office, and watch what he shares in only the fashion that Mike Rowe can share.
So on my roof in my office in Santa Monica, and the situation's not good. I got here a few hours fog. I hadn't heard any reports of a fire, but it's been burning since about 10:30 this morning. And you can see it. It's happening over there in real time in the Palisades. The wind is blowing. I just heard from a good friend of mine who lost everything she owns. Her house is gone. The wind's not going to stop for the night. So, yeah, bad day for Southern California.
Man, terrible. So Mike Rowe, obviously, he's on his roof, and look at that. Looks like hell on earth, just scorching everything there in California. And it's a horrible thing. If you've ever known or been through a house fire, it's a devastating ordeal. I've not been personally through it, but I had a very close friend who did, and it was terrible. James Wood also has now lost his home. I see MJ Levine is reporting. So it's a terrible situation, and it was horrific to watch how incompetent the government is to stop any of this. There was this clip that is spreading around of senior citizens who are just sitting around in the middle of the street so that they don't burn to death and die. Okay, this was what was being reported via Ryan Saavedra over on CNN, saying dozens of frail elderly people are evacuated from a senior center in Southern California due to the fire. They now appear to be stranded on the side of the road. Our grandparents are out there in wheelchairs being carted around. Look at the air.
This in an environment that you're used to seeing. I live here. I come to the Palisades, and now I'm seeing buildings that I've driven by for years no longer exist. Right over there, one of the shishiest shopping malls in LA, and there've been little spot fires popping up around that. So far, that has not gone up, but you can just see this in.
It's like hell on earth, and you can see some of these other clips that I have come across as we were watching this. Here are some young men who were trying to escape this. Here's what Tanner Charles reported. Says, here's video of the moment my friend and I abandoned his house after we tried to save what we could. Please be praying for him and his family. So here's what that scene looked like.
Oh, all right, dude. Yeah, let's get out of here. We tried, bro. Sorry. We tried our best. Yeah, when this tree falls.
Look.
Sorry, bro. Gotta get out of here. Holy shit. Did that tree fall?
All right, so that's just one scene. Here's another scene of some people inside. This is what it looks like from inside when your house is being enveloped in flames.
You're gonna be okay. Hi? You're gonna be okay.
My furry little friends.
Oh shit. Don't worry about that, dude. Look at that. Oh shit.
Wild.
The plastic is gone, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's expletives there that are appropriate for a situation like that when you're being cooked in an oven. You can see it looks like that's like ash that's coming down, right? Almost looks like it's rain or snow, but that's ash.
The gas? Outside? Okay, the gas is off right now.
Terrible. So hopefully they got out. My understanding is they did. He says, I'm told the dog and both his humans were able to get out of there. So that's very good news. But it's a disaster. People are wondering, where the heck is everybody? Dire warnings have come out for California. Still a lot of wind. You saw more reporting here from the Daily Mail. Stars are losing their homes. They have turned into ashes. A-listers reveal they've got no insurance. Ben Affleck, Petra Ecclestone, they flee. Dozens of celebrities have been forced to flee their mansions. More than 30,000 residents have been evacuated. A reality TV star called Spencer Pratt and Heidi Montag lost their home. James Woods of a home 2 blocks from his property, the Palisades, with his family, on the condition. Our friends here are reporting that he has lost his home. And so we'll see. I'm sure a lot of this is still in the fog of war. Woods also declared that he and many of his neighbors no longer have insurance, canceled their policies 4 months ago. That's weird. Star Wars actor Mark Hamill revealed he was bundled out of his Malibu home in a last-minute evacuation on Tuesday. Said small fires burned on both sides of the road. Police Academy star called Steve Guttenberg. He sprung into action, opting to assist firefighters, Eugene Levy and others. A second blaze called the Eaton Fire broke out 30 miles ahead of Altadena. Mandy Moore, her 3 children evacuated. A third blaze popped up in the San Fernando Valley. The raging infernos tore through A-listers' neighborhoods. Ben Affleck, Gene Aiko, Tom Hanks, Miles Teller, the Kardashians, among others. All right, look at these mansions just going up in flames. Terrible. So here's more people. And James Wood shared scenes of these homes so we can poke over to his account. Firefighters are continuing to battle the blaze. Frightened residents are fleeing. What's happening here is people are taking their keys with them like they're in a parking lot. It's not a parking lot. We got to move your cars. Get your loved ones. Get out. And you can see the region is covered in flames. This is the location. Lots of fires. Those are obviously the big ones. Not good. What's going on down there? A lot of people suffering. Schitt's Creek star called Eugene Levy is a longtime member. The blaze ravaged through his hometown, and it is totally out of control at the moment. Not a lot of people are there responding to this in terms of federal or local government officials. I think we saw that the mayor was in Ghana, and we also are asking questions. How does this stuff happen? Here was one story over from KQED that I saw Cernovich share. Said a Forest Service halts prescribed burns in California, right? So is this mismanagement? Is this incompetence? Is this a grift? Who knows? But the Ghana mayor racing back to California to figure out what's happening there. So to our friends in California, anybody impacted, we hope you are safe, and we hope the fires get put out quickly. But it's a scary situation there. So let's see what you guys say about this. Anybody there? Just pause for a quick moment. See what everybody's saying about this. I'll pull up the James Woods tweet to see what the absolute latest on his is. Here's what he's sharing. Says, this fire is not from climate change, you idiot. It's because liberal idiots like you elect liberal idiots like Newsom and Bass. One doesn't understand the first thing about fire management and the other can't fill the water reservoirs. Here's the fire chief. Here's from James Woods. Refilling the water reservoirs would have been a welcome priority too, but I guess she had too much on her plate promoting diversity. So I think this is the first female lesbian fire chief of LA, whatever. So here is what LAFD.org says. Creating, supporting, and promoting a culture that values diversity, inclusion, and equity, while striving to meet and exceed the expectations of their priorities. And it's a terrible thing that's happening. And of course, you've got to figure out why it happened. And maybe that's part of the problem. Here's what James Wood says. I took this last night from our beautiful little home in the Palisades. Now all the fire alarms are going off at once remotely. You test your soul, losing everything at once, I must say. Yeah. All the smoke detectors are going off in our house. I couldn't believe our lovely little home in the hills held on this long. Feels like losing a loved one. And he says that the insurance companies did cancel all the policies in our neighborhood about 4 months ago. That is weird. Why'd they do that? Los Angeles is running out of water as 30,000 people from Malibu to celebrity enclaves are ordered to evacuate. Wildfires and ground firefighting aircrafts as thousands of homes are scorched. And I was watching some of this last night, I think on Fox News Live on YouTube. And there was a woman who was reporting there, just standing there, and everything was just burning around. I'm not seeing anybody responding to anything. I've been standing here for 20 minutes. I haven't seen a single firefighter. I'm like, oh my God, it's overwhelming. There's nothing they can do other than let it burn and try to save, some maybe high priority utility and infrastructure targets, but otherwise you're basically done. So it's pretty terrible. Yeah. And I don't know, can they use ocean water? These are good questions. It's like, you're right next to the ocean. Can you just have aircraft just pick it up and dump it? I don't know. Up in smoke. Good question. Lots of fire hydrants in LA already out of water. Yeah. No insurance. Terrible. Putting out fires might be racist. You want to have a very diverse group of firefighters. So some of them can be effective, some of them cannot be effective, and somehow that makes you a stronger force. I don't know how that works, but apparently that's California logic, so who knows. DEI fire chief says, Rick Tatership, what's up? K Bean says, the biggest funding cut was the fire department in LA. Interesting. Hey, what's up, Polly Shortcuts? Says, I'm in Long Beach. It's windy, but can't see anything. Cloudy too. Cloudy or smoky from the smoke? As I recall, people died in fires in Paradise trying to get back out around 2016 or 17. And we just had the ones in Maui too, right? So this is getting interesting. So if they're popping off in Maui and now they're popping off in California, is it coming to a town near you soon? Chat Litter says, it's only getting this coverage because of the celebrities. Fires rage all the time in California with minimal or no coverage. They do, and we've talked about them before. I think it was a year ago or maybe 2 years ago. We also had that footage of those people on, I don't know what highway it was over there because there's a lot of them, but the hills were just on both sides in flames, just like driving through. I guess we're just going to go home. I'm like, oh my gosh, looks like they're driving through hell. Controlled burns were halted. Yeah. Corrosion of equipment. Who knows what's going on with their response, but it looks like it's chaotic to say the least. And let's see, let's just pause for a quick minute and see what Glocky is sharing. Yeah, Glocky shared this one, says, the budget that was passed by the LA City Council and the mayor made drastic cuts to the fire department while focusing on DEI. The chief's mission statement is insane. Saw that from James Woods. Sorry, I keep forgetting the S on your name, James. Youth development. Let's see. Street services, fire. Yeah, good stuff there. Glocky says, if the GOP were smart, they would introduce and pass a law that says whatever amount of money the feds are putting you on trial for, the federal government has to give you the same amount for your legal defense. Yeah, that's an interesting idea, right, Glocky? So Trump would get like $50 million from Jack Smith. Look at this one from Glocky. Los Angeles today. And that is a surreal scene. You're flying over. Let's take a picture outside the window. You get a window seat this trip. City's in flames. It's horrible. All right, thank you, Glocky. Hey, what's up, Knox? Happy Wednesday, all. No court this AM. Nice office day. Amazing, Knox. Prayers for all in California who are facing that crazy fire. Indeed. Yeah, indeed. It's a horrific thing. And it's bad. It's bad. So hopefully we're not losing lives. It's hard to imagine that we're not. Patty B, this is reminiscent of the 2003 Cedar fire. The fire chief was at a party and delayed response. One of the worst fires in California. Poor response, and people couldn't get out. Was that Cedar fire in California? We had a big fire in Arizona when I was a younger person, like high school or something. It took out a bunch of the folks, or a bunch of land up in northern Arizona. And thank you, Carrie B, for clipping for us and for linking all those. Hey, Glocky says, Fox 11 in LA also just had a reporter on the ground in the Palisades, and the firefighters are trying to find pools to use because they have no water. Yeah. And I don't know where the Palisades are or how quickly you can pick up water from the ocean or drop it or from lakes over there or pools, but it sounds like madness. Quill and Mom had a question about Mercan. If Judge Mercan doesn't intend to impose jail time, fines, or probation, what other punishments can he impose? So basically nothing. That's his justification for doing the sentencing. If he was imposing a penalty, then it's a joke what he's trying to do here. Because being convicted of a felony is a penalty in and of itself. That is a penalty, from my opinion, because then suddenly Trump's a convicted felon. Now he can't vote. Now he can't possess a firearm and other things, even though he's the president. So that is clearly a penalty. But for some reason, nobody's talking about that. But even on Trump's team, they haven't brought that up, as far as I've seen. And maybe there's a reason for that, because the response might be Supreme. I don't know. We'll see if that's in the Supreme Court brief when we go into it later. But the idea that Mercan is imposing right now is that there are no penalties. So he can sentence him because it's not a burden on the institution of the presidency. Regardless of Trump, whether Trump is the president or not, you can't burden the institution. And so he says, I'm not, because there's no penalties on this thing. It's just basically a label. That's all, is what he's saying. It's a great question, Quill and Mom. Dan Goldman, some due process stuff. Okay, so we'll come back on these. Just wanted to pause and take some of those. Yeah, here. Object Class Keeter says, former California resident, it has enough water. Most of it is just wasted, though. Most of it is just wasted. We hope they put it out or get some rain or something. But yeah, I have family in the path of the fire, says Sweet. They've evacuated. Yeah, I know we got a lot of friends and family over there. Even though I reject California and I object to California as a state entirely, we still want everybody there to be safe and be okay. Fire is a horrific thing. It's devastating. And I think I've shared the story with you before about my business partner. His house burned down. Like, oh my gosh, it was insane. So Cedar fire. Thank you, Patty B. Highly destructive wildfire, San Diego County. Fires rapid growth driven by the winds. Largest fire in history in California, largest wildfire in the state's history, one of the largest. Were there deaths? 1 firefighter, 14 civilian deaths. Man, it's terrible. $1 billion in damage all throughout that area. It'd be good if they could figure this out. I know that Palmer Luckey, those guys from Anduril, which is like the Tesla of defense, of the defense industry, they're working on something with autonomous drones that they can just deploy, like swarms of drones. They can just go out and put out fires before they even start. You have to have good ways of detecting the fires and stuff. Anyways, and there's always that idea that some people want a lot of these things to burn. I was also watching it yesterday, and I saw that like mobile home parks are being torched, right? There's a lot of poor areas that are also being smoked out of here. Yeah, some celebrity houses are being torched, but a lot of people who have very little to recover with and resources to go recover are also losing their homes. So it's a terrible thing. All right, so we're going to keep praying on that one, my friends.